Is that world recession, and to talk about that I'm joined by the BBC's business correspondent Joe Lynham. Now, people are drawing lots of parallels with the 1930s and the Downing Street in particular saying we have to learn lessons from that. Are the leaders learning those lessons, do you think?
Well, they're certainly determined, and many of the leaders have come around the table and they're trying to get on message, despite some of the statements we've had from President Sarkozy in recent days. Yes, the stark message is that this meeting that President Obama is having with Gordon Brown is to prevent the current economic recession becoming an outright depression, with the consequences that we saw, of course, in the early 1930s, which led to mass unemployment and extreme movements throughout Europe and the world. So that's the aim. But how do you achieve that? Well, what they're talking about is stimulus packages. That means borrowing more, so to spend more to kind of kickstart the individual economies. And then they're talking about regulatory reform, more oversight for banks so that they can't do the same kind of things that got us into the mess in the first place. And then there'll be some sort of oversight and bigger role for the IMF.
Now, as far as the banking side goes, we've heard an awful lot in this country about bankers' bonuses, all that kind of thing. Is there something that can be done globally, if you like, to sort of cap payments for bankers and bonuses?
It's very unlikely that you'll get some sort of global agreement on how bankers should be paid, simply because of the nature of constitutions and, rights and free markets and all that kind of thing. But President Obama has led the way, and he's already said that no banker that gets state aid from the United States government should get money more than $500,000. Now, $500,000 is a lot of money for most people, but compared to the money that they were earning on Wall Street, that is quite a reduced and significant sum of money. Whether the Europeans can agree on that is another matter, but they too want that. Certainly the French and the Germans and the Italians are pressing for reined-in bonuses for their bankers and no reward for failure.
Now, of course, people are getting carried away maybe with the Obama being here, the red carpets and all the rest of it. But as far as the economic outlook, the World Economic Outlook, the latest figures are pretty terrifying, aren't they, as the backdrop to all of this?
Yes, it is. The latest OECD figures are very, very negative, and they paint a very bleak picture for a lot of the countries that are represented here in the G20 countries. Trade, for example, that is very, very important, vital, in fact, for countries like Japan and Germany, but that has fallen off a cliff in the last quarter alone. The predictions for growth in 2009 are very poor. The British economy is set to shrink by 2.8% according to the latest IMF numbers, and the American economy is something similar.
OK, thank you very much to Joe Lynham. That, of course, is the backdrop here, a world recession, and the leaders trying to come together to try and stop it getting even worse.
Vicky, more from you later. Thank you.